up, Candid Cinema? It's your girl, CC, and this is a late Thursday treat because I had two movies that I kind of want to just touch upon more, but aren't at the forefront of my brain for a real review, and I don't want to delegate them to the 1 minute stub reviews, so I'm just gonna kind of read out of my Candid Cinema notebook here and tell you guys about these two movies because I think they're so far on the wayside that people just aren't looking at them, and much more so than The Lost on a Mountain in Maine, because I think people will watch that only because it's a pretty big Maine staple. So the first one I wanted to talk about was Weekend in Taipei. I saw this twice in theaters and I loved it both times. It was great. It was just like watching like an old 2000s movie but with today's cameras and effects and stuff. Like, I liked the story. It was really fun, and you know, sometimes you just have to have some fun movies. They don't really need like a point per se. Like, they don't need to change your life or whatever. They could just be fun. So the acting I thought was a 7 out of 10. The only weak spot was the child. I think he could have been better with a couple of his parts, but all in all, I think it was pretty well done. The story and script, again, I liked it. I give it a 7 out of 10. Like, the main conflict was the fact that the main woman and her son was in a family with a drug lord who was really mean and kind of coerced, like kind of forced her to be his wife so that she wouldn't, like, you know, be like a drug slave or whatnot, basically. Like, it was either she die or this, that, and the other, or be his wife. So she was just like, I'll be your wife, I guess. So, even though she fell in love with somebody else, and then finally they get out of that situation and they get to put him in jail. So it was nice. It's not a movie that's gonna change your life. It's not a story that's gonna be like so profound or whatever, but it's fun. It's a fun movie. It's like watching Fast and Furious or Taken or Rush Hour. You know, they're not gonna change your life. They're not profound. They're not something that's gonna move you or whatever, but they're fun. And they're really good because they're fun. The theme, it's like police busting bad guys. So the theme is good, I guess. 6 out of 10. I mean, it's pretty basic. Details, 8 out of 10. They were really fun. I thought all of the continuity stuff seemed to stick around pretty well. And I thought that the different parts of where they were really well done. I liked how they actually filmed in Taipei. That was really cool as well. So I think everything kind of lended itself real well to the story. It was really good. Now, this movie is rated R, which you would be like, oh no, we can't go to it, or we can't show our kids or whatnot. But it's like, I think it's only rated R because it was filmed in Taipei, because the only thing that made it rated R was two scenes where the graphicness got a little bit crazy, because somebody gets a cleaver stuck in their head, and then there's like a 1 or 2 blood spatter moments, but nothing big. Honestly, those could be PG-13, really. And then there was just one F word at the end. One. So literally, this movie could have been PG-13, but I think because it was filmed in Taipei, it has to kind of go along with Taipei as well as the States, I suppose. So they were like, it's probably going to be rated R. So it's like, okay, but it wasn't bad at all. I mean, the language was so lax. You were watching it, and you're just like, wait, this is rated R? I guess there is some sexual content with like people kiss, and like there's an allusion or alluding to sex, and then the drug lord deals in human trafficking, but it's nothing on screen, right? The violence, there's a couple of semi-graphic fight scenes in the beginning. Like I said, the head cleaver, there's lots of punching and shooting and stabbing and explosives. Somebody gets run over by a car. There's threatening violence on the kid, actually hitting the kid. The only real egregious scene was in the beginning with the head cleaver thing, but I guess, you know, violence on the kid was a little much too, so maybe that kind of muddied the PG-13 waters into R-rated, right? Drugs and alcohol. Drugs are mentioned. They're not used. I think somebody might smoke a couple of times, like cigarettes, and alcohol was drunk a couple of times. Now, the only language that I heard was one F word, a couple of S words, a couple of the A words, and a couple of the D words. So literally, like, I don't know, you could have probably gathered all of the swears into like 15 of them, and only one of them was the F word. So the R rating definitely did not come from the language. Overall, I give it an 8 out of 10. I mean, I really enjoyed it. It was so fun, and it was like high stakes conflict, but a low stakes movie, because you felt a couple of times you were like, oh no, what's gonna happen? But you weren't like nervous or worried or scared during the movie. You just could enjoy the movie for what it was, like you would be watching Fast and Furious or Rush Hour. Like with Rush Hour, like, yeah, it's a high stakes movie because you're trying to find somebody who kidnapped this girl, but you knew the girl wasn't gonna die, right? You knew she wasn't gonna die. Nobody died. And it was great because you were able to watch the movie for what it was and not be concerned throughout the entire movie. And I like movies like that. I like movies where you could just enjoy it. So it was a very enjoyable movie, and I recommend it highly to watch, even though a lot of people online will probably be like, it's not a good movie because there's nothing to it. There's not really anything that's gonna progress my life. You really think every single movie you're gonna watch is going to move your life forward or give you life advice like every single time you watch it? No, not even TV shows you do that. So like, calm down. And then the second one that I wanted to talk about was The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim. And only because I think people were a little scared to go see this because Rings of Power was just not very good, the Amazon Prime TV show. Only because like they kind of lost the essence of The Lord of the Rings with that TV show. But I think the movie was well done. I think the movie was well done. I think it kept itself in the realm of The Lord of the Rings. And even though it was a female main character, she wasn't like God's gift to earth, right? She wasn't like all powerful, all knowing. What a lot of people want to make female leads, which ends up making them very boring. I thought she was flawed in a couple of ways, but also very strong in a couple of ways. And she wasn't stronger than men in it. She just knew how to use what she had to be more intelligent than these men, which then leads her to be stronger. So I think in that case, she was a very good main character and someone that you can understand and be happy to watch and not be like, wow, she's really boring, like Captain Marvel or something. I thought it was very localized to where it was, so it wasn't trying to be like a multiverse of The Lord of the Rings and try to overstep its reach, but you did have a couple of times where they referenced characters that were like, oh, that was him! That was him! Oh, that was them! They referenced Gandalf, they referenced the Rings of Sauron, though the reason why The Lord of the Rings is called The Lord of the Rings. And then also, that one old guy with the white hair, what is his name? It was the guy who was like in the Council of Elves, like he was just against Gandalf in the first movie or what? I don't remember. It's okay. But he was mentioned in it too, right? So I really thoroughly enjoyed this movie, and the fact that it was anime was really fun too. I thought that the animation could have been smoother for sure. You could have been like Demon Slayers on screen, but instead you were like 5 years back with like the movements and stuff. So I wish they had spent a little bit more time and money making the animation smoother, but all in all it was fine, really. I thought the acting was really good. The voice acting, I mean, it was good. It was good for what it did. I thought that it all sounded like it was Lord of the Rings-esque, you know? They weren't trying to be American. They were trying to be where they were, right? So the acting was 8 out of 10. Thought the story/script was 7 out of 10. I thought the conflict was really well done, and how it kind of moved through was really well done. I thought it was sort of like a fable that you would hear one of the dwarves or the elves talking about around a fire. Maybe not the elves, but like the hobbits or the humans or the dwarves talking around a fire, giving this old story. Because this was before the main story of The Lord of the Rings, right? And yeah, I liked the story. I did. The theme, I think the 8 out of 10, because they were like talking about revenge is bad. You're more than what people say you are. And the details, again, I rate the details highly because I thought it felt like the world of The Lord of the Rings. Watching it on screen in the anime, it felt like it. And they brought a couple of new like monsters into the story that I didn't see before. But again, the animation could have been smoother. So I give it like 7 out of 10, give or take. And this movie was PG-13. I think it was mostly because of the violence. There literally wasn't any language or sexual content in this movie, so you don't have to worry about that. Drugs and alcohol, there was wine on screen. I don't remember anybody drinking it though, so maybe no drugs and alcohol either. The only thing, there was like a couple of gross stuff like rotting corpses, the octopus monster that came in, that was disgusting. The elephant getting eaten by the octopus monster, also just gross. And the orcs, they're also unpleasant. But the gross is, you know, taken down like 3 or 4 or 5 notches because it was drawn, so it's not like real looking, you know? It's real looking to a sense that it's like animated, not real looking to the sense where it's like CGI and you feel like, oh, flesh and junk, you know what I mean? You know what I mean. And the violence, so it was kind of heavy in this, but it was all animated. I mean, this is Lord of the Rings. You're gonna have violence because they're always fighting. They're fighting over something, and this something just ended up being land. Tale as old as time, war, and that's what we were in the entire time, war. So there was like fighting, sword fighting, archery. Many people die, including 4 main characters and 3 side characters. You will be sad over 3 of the 7 deaths. You will be sad over the 3 of the 7 deaths. There was a good bit of blood in some of the death scenes. The main character gets kidnapped and roughhoused a bit, resulting like a cut of the cheek. You don't really like to see women getting kidnapped and stuff. It's kind of scary, really, but she got away. It's all good. An arm of somebody is cut off. Arrows go through bodies, like completely through, like there was one person who was just riddled with arrows. An orc is bludgeoned to death off screen. There's lots of betrayal. The first enticing incident of the story is that somebody was punched once and then he dies. I don't know how that happened. Maybe the king is built different for sure, but like it was wild that he was punched only once and died. But you know, super fun. It's still fun. Overall, I give the movie an 8 out of 10. I would definitely watch it again. I want to watch it again. I can't wait till it comes to streaming. I don't know if it's at streaming right now, but I definitely can't wait. And I think you would enjoy it too, for sure. As long as you like Lord of the Rings. And as long as you like things like Rush Hour and Taken and Fast and Furious and junk, you'd like Weekend in Taipei too. I definitely say give both of these movies a try. And once they come to streaming and I'm able to watch them again and stuff, you can comment down below and ask for full reviews, big reviews on these. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great Thursday, and don't forget about tomorrow where I'm bringing you guys a full review. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Share with your friends, like, subscribe so I can make more like this for you. And just remember, right here at Candid Cinema, it's okay to talk, it's okay to text, and I will see you later. Bye!